to Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. I am your host Luke, and we're going to take you through everything that happened in Survivor Series 2018. It's an indifferent show, I'm not going to lie to you. I was a bit angry by the time it had finished, but that's just the standard life of a WWE fan. But if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when we upload new videos. Also drop us a comment in the comment section down below if you've got a suggestion for a pay-per-view that you want us to review that is available on the WWE network. We can come to some sort of arrangement on that. But in the meantime, let's go and take you through everything that happened on Survivor Series. And so your next match is a pre-show match. It features the tag team divisions of both Smackdown and Raw going head to head for bragging rights, even though the point doesn't count towards the final score. Anyway, you've got the Colons, the B Team, Sanity, Ascension, Good Brothers, Lucha House Party, 2 of the 3 Lucha House Party entrants. You've got Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, who are your captains of the Raw team. You've got the New Day, 2 out of 3 of the New Day, and the Revival, and of course the Usos, who got the captaincy from the New Day on SmackDown. So the Usos are the captains, co-captains of the Smackdown team. Now, I did allude to this. I've watched a couple of old school Survivor Series pay-per-views, and they only had one tag team Survivor Series match, and it was just a sea of humanity. I imagine that if I was sat on the front row, having paid so much money to not see wrestling, I'd have been a little bit miffed. But they seemed to clump together, so it wasn't too bad. So I'm going to go through the eliminations. There's bits and bobs in between, but the match doesn't really get started until quite a few of the teams have been eliminated. But overall, it is a really good match, and there's a surprise at the end with who is left over from the losing team. So first out are the Colons. I'd forgotten they even existed, to be honest. I'm surprised they're still around. They used to be the Matadors, and they used to hang around with that little bull guy. The B team are out, having been Raw Tag Team Champions not that long ago. They are out of favour. Sanity. What are they doing with Sanity? Sanity was Killian Dane and Eric Young, and they went out next. So the Raw team has the constant upper hand on the SmackDown team at this point. The Ascension goes out next, evening the scores. The Good Brothers then go out as well. One of the Lucha House Party does get an injury. They feature on 205, so I'm not sure what their names are. I think it's Lindsay Dorado and 2 others. Not really that bothered about Lucha House Party, although they do have a really cool t-shirt. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable go out next, the captains of Raw, the co-captains of Raw. They go out next. SmackDown has the advantage at this point. It's got the New Day and the Usos left over, with the Raw team only having the Revival left over. That's what I meant when I said there's a little bit of a surprise towards the end of this match, because I wouldn't have put my money on the Revival being the last team. But it's nice to see that they're finally getting their push on Raw, having come up from the NXT roster to the main roster, the first ever and only 2-time tag team champions on NXT. They go out, final team eliminated, they go out, and the Usos win. SmackDown win, but the point doesn't count because someone's got a boner for Raw, and that is a storyline that would continue all the way through the pay-per-view, and it makes me quite sad that that what happens. Really good match. To say it was a pre-show match, it was really, really good. Like I say, didn't really get going until the end, but the Revival and the Usos did fantastic when they got together on a 2-on-2 tag team situation. So yeah, good match to finish the pre-show, and we're going to go on to the main card. But this also brings up another question. There's now only 6 matches on the main card. It could end in a draw, meaning that there's no bragging rights at all. Well, we're going to find out about that as we move on down the card. And following on with the War Games type scenario, the women are on the card first on the Survivor Series, and it is a traditional Survivor Series women's match, 5 from Raw, 5 from Smackdown, who is the superior brand. I'm just going to go through the eliminations again. It just makes it a little bit easier. Naomi is the first person out, goes out really quickly after a super kick from Tamina. Who's Tamina? Who's Tamina? I don't know. I've forgotten about her as well. Tamina then gets rolled up by Carmella, who proceeds to go into a breakdancing routine. Dance break from Carmella. I could watch that all day, I'll be honest with you. But that is rudely interrupted by cutting off the music. At this point, we're 4-on-4, 2 quick eliminations. Mandy Rose holds her own with Nia Jax and Mickie James, which is brilliant. I love to see new talent holding their own with established talent, and of course Mandy Rose is just spot on. Could watch her all day as well. Maybe Carmella and Mandy Rose could have a dance break together, and I'll be happy. I'll be a happy man. So Carmella out after Asuka tags herself in. Carmella out from Mickie James is out at this point. Bayley to belly. Bayley to belly. That's the way it is. On Carmella to send her packing. Mandy Rose goes out next after a good showing from the youngster, and Bayley and DeVille roll out of the ring, fighting each other after a figure 4, I think it is. I think there's some kind of leg lock there anyway. I think it might even be a knee bar, but they roll out, they start fighting. Neither of them can answer the 10 count. They both get counted out. So you've then got Banks and Jax versus Asuka. Banks goes out next thanks to Jax and the Asuka lock. Jax distracts Banks and Asuka gets the Asuka lock. At this point, Nia Jax comes in, drops the leg a couple of times over Asuka, hits a Samoan drop, and your sole survivor is the Fist, Nia Jax. The crowd is booing the hell out of Nia Jax in this one, owing to what she did to Becky Lynch, destroying probably one of the most anticipated matches in Survivor Series history, knowing where the women have been and where they've come to. It was really disappointing. But they're playing on it, and it's doing wonders for Nia Jax. She still needs probably a little bit of work. She needs to go back to square one, but they're pushing her, and that's fine. Just hope she doesn't do anything else, injure any more female superstars on the Raw brand. So it's now 1-0 to Raw, and SmackDown need a point back. Technically it's 1-1, but we know the pre-show didn't count. So next match is your Intercontinental Champion versus your United States Champion. It's Seth Rollins with Dean Ambrose on the brain versus Shinsuke Nakamura. It could have been a fantastic match. It should have been a fantastic match. We've said this loads of times before, but I'm going to nominate this as my designated piss break match because it took ages to get going. It was quite boring until the last sort of 5 minutes, and it took a crowd chant to get them going, which is not good. And I don't blame the wrestlers, I don't blame the talent, I blame the writers. It's boring, boring, boring. Not selling this pay-per-view, go and watch War Games instead. So there's plenty of knees, plenty of strikes. Seth Rollins at one point ducks a Kinshasa, hits a ripcord knee of his own, near fall, lots of near falls. Gets going towards the end, it's still a designated piss break match. Sorry guys, but yeah, this could have been epic. It could have stolen the show, and it just didn't. It bombed. The match ends with Rollins crashing out of the ring. Shinsuke then rolls him back in, tries for the Kinshasa, he hits it, gets a near fall, but Rollins then comes back, hits a curb stomp and gets the win. Rollins is your winner. The United States champion has fallen. The Intercontinental champion is superior, and Raw once again get another point. So it's now 2-0 or 2-1 if you're keeping proper scores to Raw. So they're dominating Survivor Series at this point, and yeah, disappointing match, guys, but yeah, skip over it and it'll be fine. So we're going to go on to the next match. So the next match is the Raw Tag Team Champions, the authors of Pain, Akam and Rezar, versus Cesaro and Sheamus, along with the Big Show. Of course, AOP have their manager with them as well, Drake Maverick, on the outside. So both teams have someone with them. AOP stay on top for most of this match, which is surprising considering the chemistry between Cesaro and Sheamus. So yeah, that's surprising. They do pick up a little bit of momentum, but Drake Maverick gets the interference and gets chased around the ring by Cesaro, who runs into Big Show, and he then intimidates Drake Maverick enough for him to piss himself. We're really going for that now. And the AOP hits Sheamus with their double team move and for the pin, and it is now 3-0 to Raw on the only show for the whole year that Raw and SmackDown go head to head. Someone's got a boner for Raw. Really bad treatment of SmackDown. Superior brand all the way, no doubt about it. But on this night, it's 3-0. SmackDown can only draw at this point now because there's only 3 matches left, and the pre-show didn't count. Don't know how many times I have to say that, but I'm really confused about this pay-per-view. But I'm going to continue anyway, and the next match is a neutral match, shall we say. Your next match is for the Cruiserweight Championship. It is a neutral match. Obviously the 205 Live and the Cruiserweights are on Raw anyway, but it is Buddy Murphy versus Mustafa Ali. Buddy Murphy obviously picking up the championship at Super Showdown in Australia, his home country, against Cedric Alexander, and then Mustafa Ali gained the right to be in this match after beating Tony Nese on 205 Live. Really good match. Finally the Cruiserweights can fly. I know we've said this a couple of times already, but a really good match. Ali flies a lot in this match, and he shows why he is a true Cruiserweight. Murphy does do a lot of high flying as well, showing why he could be a Cruiserweight, but he's also got the power and the ground game to his advantage. Ali does put up a little bit of defence in this match, but ultimately comes short against the much more powerful Buddy Murphy. He's got a game plan for everything. There's a really good spot towards the end of this match where Buddy Murphy is setting up the table and goes to jump off it, but Mustafa Ali jumps onto the table and hits a Spanish fly onto the floor. Absolutely sick looking move, but absolutely fantastic. There's a super kick and a powerbomb followed by a sit out powerbomb by Mustafa Ali, and Murphy pins Ali after hitting Murphy's Law to retain the championship. So like I say, Mustafa Ali put up a really good fight in this one. But Buddy Murphy retains the championship, still your Cruiserweight champion, Buddy Murphy. And so it's time now for the Men's Survivor Series match. This is make or break for Team Smackdown, being captained by The Miz, also featuring Shane McMahon in his one match a year, of course. You've got Joe, you've got Ziggler, you've got Balor, you've got Shane O'Mac, you've got Strowman, Hardy, Mysterio, Miz, and Drew McIntyre as well as Bobby Lashley in this match. So I'm just going to go straight through the eliminations. One thing that really annoyed me about this match is that Samoa Joe, the enforcer of SmackDown, goes out really easily and really quick. Samoa Joe is out first after one move. Right, so once that's gone, Shane drops an elbow onto Strowman through a table. The match breaks down after that. They get the table ready. Let's take out Strowman. There's 4-on-1 situation. Shane goes through the table, puts Strowman through the table, takes him out for a little while. Also pretty much takes himself out of the equation at that point as well. Balor is being put out by Mysterio, who drops the dime on Balor for the pin. Ziggler goes out next after Shane hits the coast to coast and rolls him up for the pin. Shane goes for another coast to coast on Lashley after some encouragement by The Miz. Now I think there's an ulterior motive here. Miz is playing face and he's not really. Definitely some kind of reasoning behind this. Shane O'Mac looked like he was completely out at this point, but Miz encourages him. He hits another coast to coast, or tries to hit another coast to coast, but the big bear paw of Strowman comes out and clotheslines Shane as he's jumping. Absolutely hilarious. I love Strowman so much. Just wish that SmackDown had won this one, which I've given away the finish now. Hardy goes out next from a Strowman power slam. Mysterio gone from the same method. The Miz goes again by the same method. Strowman eliminates everybody in this match, and Shane is left against Strowman, McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. Doesn't stand a chance. Power slam. Strowman wins. The other participants in the match didn't even stand a chance, and I like the fact that they've bigged Strowman up again as a big monster, sort of face heel type thing, and he's back to his old self. What I don't like is that SmackDown lost. I think I put down on my predictions that Team Raw would win this one, but I was kind of expecting SmackDown to put up a fight in the other matches. However, it's not panned out like that. It is now 4-0. There's no way SmackDown can come back from this. Like I say, there's only 6 matches that count because someone forgot to do their maths. But yeah, Raw win another match, and it is 4-0 to Raw. The penultimate match of the evening features Charlotte versus the Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, of course. Becky Lynch getting clocked by Nia Jax, receiving a concussion and a broken face in the process. It was a botch. Don't believe that Nia should get the heat that she's getting, but they're playing with it, so there you go. Sometimes these things happen in wrestling. People say it's fake, people say it's a work. It is, but if you get punched in the face, it hurts. And this is a direct result of that. But she's had her Stone Cold moment now, and Becky Lynch is firmly a fan favourite heel type character, much like Stone Cold was after his match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. But Charlotte was her replacement. She picked her directly, she picked her personally to go against Ronda Rousey, and I thought this was a really good match. Woody didn't share that sentiment. I thought it was really good. but there was something off about this match, something that we did agree on, something very off about this match. Charlotte just beats down Ronda Rousey all through the match. It's mano on mano, woman on woman action, giggity, and yeah, it's really hard hitting. You've got the poster child of wrestling, the wrestling world, the women's wrestling world, versus the poster child of the women's MMA world, going at it, and it was just really good. It was really hard hitting. It was sometimes difficult to watch, and there was definitely something off about it, almost like someone had said to Charlotte, go and beat her down, literally show her the hard knocks kind of thing, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's really, really weird, this one. The match, like I say, back and forth, there was arm bars. Charlotte was trying to work Ronda Rousey's leg. Rousey was trying to work Charlotte's arm so she could get the arm bar in. Eventually Charlotte does get the figure of four in, but both women then roll out to the outside. So at this point that the match kind of breaks down, with Charlotte sort of rolling to the outside and staying on the outside, and that's when the kendo stick comes in, ruining a really epic match, in my opinion. Ruining a really epic match, and disqualification for Charlotte, meaning that Ronda Rousey's won and Raw gets another point. So it's 5-0 at this point. But what proceeds after the match is quite difficult to watch. Charlotte gets a kendo stick, starts beating Ronda Rousey with it. She is beaten and battered. There's a chair in, the referees come out, they try and split it up. Charlotte just goes nuts and starts smacking the referees as well, pushing them down, getting them out of the way. She's not letting up on Ronda Rousey at all. There's no interference from the wrestlers, from other wrestlers at this point, which would be a good time for other female wrestlers to come out and just break it up. But yeah, really weird match. It was really good, hard hitting match, bit scrappy, but I kind of liked that. I thought that was the raw energy in this match between the two ladies here. But yeah, the finish was screwy, and there was something really off about the match, something that wasn't quite right about it. But your winner and the 5th point of Survivor Series goes to Raw. 5-0 now. Your winner is Ronda Rousey via disqualification. Ronda Rousey leaves to a chorus of boos at this point, and looks really sad and forlorn, and gotta wonder whether this is the start of the 4 Horsewomen versus the 4 Horsewomen feud that people have been wanting. And so your final match of the evening is Daniel Bryan, the newly crowned WWE Champion after a bit of a low blow on AJ Styles, versus Brock Lesnar, who won his championship after Braun Strowman was clocked over the head by Baron Corbin with the championship. So we've got 2 champions that both have won their championships by ill-gotten means, and that probably doesn't make a really good match, but I was quite entertained by this match. Daniel Bryan goes straight for the Brock Lesnar's legs at this point, tries to get the early advantage, take the strength game out of Brock Lesnar's arsenal. What proceeds next is suplex after suplex after suplex, Germans, belly to bellies, F5s. Daniel Bryan is still alive. There's an F5, a near fall. Could have been finished at that point, and Brock Lesnar picks Daniel Bryan up off the canvas so he can punish him some more. Daniel Bryan does come back at this point. Brock Lesnar is taunting him, gets a few kicks in, rocks the big man, and comes back and puts on a pretty decent match with Brock Lesnar at this point. And yeah, Lesnar is low bridged, is setting up for the S-Lock. The S-Lock was applied a couple of times. Brock Lesnar is way too powerful, and Brock Lesnar tries to attack Daniel Bryan on the outside with the steps, completely misses, really funny. Just a big gorilla carrying steps, missing his spot. Daniel Bryan hits a flying knee and gets a near fall, the first near fall for Daniel Bryan. The S-lock into a triangle lock. At this point, Brock Lesnar picks up Daniel Bryan, and choke is turned into an F5. Literally picks him up, puts him on his shoulders, F5, pin, Brock wins. Quite entertaining match actually. Didn't think Daniel Bryan was coming back. The way it was going, the way he was playing it, it's like, oh, he's out, and he just didn't. He came back. He's Daniel Bryan. But yeah, decent match. Don't think it was quite as good as Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles from last year, but it played to the strengths of both guys, with Brock Lesnar being much bigger and Daniel Bryan being more savvy in the ring than Brock Lesnar. But your winner and a clean sweep for Raw, which I really don't like it. At least give SmackDown a couple of points, make it 4-2 or something. But clean sweep for Raw. Your winner on this one is Brock Lesnar. And that concludes your review of Survivor Series 2018. The point system finished 6-0 to Raw. Raw gets a clean sweep. SmackDown has been crapped all over. Someone's got a really big boner for Raw because SmackDown is the superior show, beats them week in, week out with how good it is. And clean sweep. There were some weird moments in this pay-per-view that, I mean, I'm usually quite positive about WWE pay-per-views, but there were some really weird moments in this one, even moments that I can't get behind, especially the Charlotte Ronda Rousey thing, and the pre-show point not counting, so it could have been a draw. Someone didn't do the maths. It was okay. It's not one that I'm going to be going back to anytime soon. It was just okay. There were some good matches in there. The Cruiserweight Championship was decent. The Tag Team Championship match was decent. And the World Title versus the Universal Title was okay as well. It was indifferent, and let you make up your own mind on this one. But in terms of me, I will not be watching this again anytime soon. But if you like the channel, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when we upload new videos. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. And I will see you next time right here on Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. I've been your host, Luke, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.